So we've heard of prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is where you go and write prompts into LLMs, and your goal is to get the LLM to understand what you want it to do, and you want to structure it in a way that the LLMs are actually doing exactly what you ask them to do. So context engineering also has the same goal. The goal is still to get the LLMs or the LLM powered agents, which is the next step, or where you're talking to multiple LLMs and composing each of the replies one after the other, taking actions based on that. So it just gets a lot more complex. So context engineering in the context of AI agents is where we structure the prompts that we write to each of these steps when we talk to LLMs in order to make it understand what it is that our end goal is. And if we don't do it right, then we might not get the desired output that we're looking for. It's a problem of reducing noise from the data that we feed into LLMs or our AI agents so that they can take action on just very specific amount of information and not be overwhelmed by too much noise that surrounds it. Right. So data just refers to all the information that is available to us. Now let's think of how a human being would do solve a problem like this, right? Think of an SRE who is coming in and has an alert that fired. So the SRE usually has context, has understanding of the system, understands which services talk to one another, understands why a particular alert is firing. So all this information that is there in a human being's head is also context, right? So this is what context engineering is also all about. In this case, we want to have the AI agent have this context so that it takes the right decisions and moves in the right direction in order to get to the resolution of incidents. Data would just mean, all the data that we have access to, all the information that we have available. Imagine again in this case where the human SRE was trying to debug something. Instead of looking at, say, curated dashboards or some runbooks that they have already curated, if they were just let loose on a giant piece of log text, it would be really hard for them to decipher what is going on and get to the resolution soon. So a bad context would look something like that. Let's just say, let's dump all the logs, all the metrics, all the telemetry that we have instrumented into LLM contexts or in multiple different LLM contexts. That would be bad. You don't want to do that. You want to try to reduce it to just the minimal piece of information that the LLM can take action on and make decisions on which way to go next. So that would be a good context. All right. So if there was a human in the loop in such an agent where a person is always reviewing what the agent is doing and guiding it in the direction of incident resolution, it's still you have a chance to make changes to the context so that we actually go in the right direction. But in case where you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night when you're on call and go and resolve the incident, you want the agent to be able to do that for you. In that case, we want it to be very autonomous, and if we want it to be autonomous, we have to make sure that the context that the agent requires is provided autonomously, automatically when it is trying to resolve an incident. So it's really important. Great question. So if you think about it, it's the same things that a human SRE would have wanted at the time of incident resolution when an alert occurs. So some knowledge about service dependencies, so service maps saying, okay, this if service A is failing, it means let's go check what happened before that, both upstream and downstream services. Let's look at the cascading failures if there are any, things like that. So service dependencies are very important. The other thing is well-instrumented logs and metrics so that we can narrow down to that particular problem. So usually what happens is alerts are associated with metrics or rules that are based on metrics. So in that case, if we need to have that metric access, that's a good information to provide in the context. So it depends on the type of incidents that come in. We need to have separate pieces of telemetry, but very relevant to that incident. That's what would make good context, and that's where all the context engineering lies.